Hi everyone, it's Georgia and welcome to Mama's Soul Food. I hope you are having a really good day. I wanted to apologize for the video that didn't work yesterday. In fact, this is the third time I've tried to make this one video. So obviously Mercury is in retrograde. So technology is not my friend. But I do want to talk about the title of the video because I did mention it in the last video. And that is my dream about kittens. Now, I don't know about you, but over the years, I've had some recurring dreams. And about 25 years ago, I had a series of dreams. And dreams are always speaking to us because most often they are projections of ourselves in one way or another. And in my dreams, 25 years ago, I kept dreaming about kittens. And in those dreams, they were pretty sad because they were starving and they were neglected and they were drowning. I mean, it was just several years, and it took me a while to fully understand that those were aspects of myself that were suffering. And I don't know why it took me so long, but sometimes when we're suffering, we don't always want to face those truths, or sometimes we don't want to face the truths that are underneath our suffering. And that, of course, is what sort of began my healing journey, facing the truth that there were parts of myself that I was unaware of that needed attention and needed healing, most certainly. So it's interesting, over the last few months, I've had a couple more kitten dreams. And if I can be honest with you, over the last several decades of really healing and taking care of my own physical health issues and making my mental health a better place to be, I hadn't been dreaming about kittens. And recently I have started dreaming about kittens again, which I take as a sign of progress. And in the dream that I had the other day, I walked into a room that I had never really been in before. It wasn't big, but it was kind of open and airy and light. And when I walked into the room, 4 kittens kind of came out of the woodworks, so to say. And they were healthy and running and vibrant. And the first kitten that came up to me was a calico kitten. But for some reason, I was drawn to keep walking towards the back of the room, and the little black and white tuxedo boy, little black and white kitten came running up to me. And I bent down and I began to pet that kitten. And of course, he was swirling all around my legs and things of that nature. So, thus is why I titled the video, It's a Fred Thing, because right now I'm staying with a cat named Fred, who's a black and white cat. And he's not little, so you can never refer to Fred as little. But for me, the black and white cat represents a couple of different things. And first and foremost, it represents balance. You know, that tending my balance is my priority, always. It doesn't matter what's going on in anybody else's life. Tending to my balance and equilibrium is the priority. You know, we all kind of live in our own bubble. We all have a vortex that is our own. And staying in that lane and honoring that we've been given that vortex to create is our first work. And keeping that vortex and all of who you are in that balanced. Every time we borrow from other people's vortexes, and let me tell you how we borrow from other people's spheres. And we borrow from other people's spheres by saying, consciously and unconsciously, I need you in order to feel secure. I need you in order to be stable. I need you in order to make me feel good. I need that crowd's approval. I need that one person's love. You know what I mean? We're always picking other people's spheres, thinking that it fits ours. or it will complete us. And we always learn it doesn't. So owning this kitten, this aspect, this balancing of who you are, well, that is one of the first things that I got from that I'm in a good place of finally doing that. 20 plus years ago, caring for myself was not my priority. And thus, I was a group of sad little kittens. The other thing that the black and white cat represents for me is the balancing of my energies as kind of the male femaleness, the masculine and the feminine. You know, we all have those energies inside of us. The universe is masculine and feminine, light and dark. You know, we are the polarity, are we not? So valuing that and giving attention to both of those aspects of my life is another sign of balance, you know, to know that there are times that I need to be with masculine energies, whether that's even in myself or even with masculines. And there are times when I need to be with my own feminine energies or literally be with the feminine energies of somebody else who's holding that energy. To know that that is also part of my essence. And something that I'm navigating and working with makes me a whole kitten. Now, I was a little disappointed, however, when I saw the kittens because there was a part of me that was like, wow, you would have thought it'd be a cat by now in my dreams. But I'm still a kitten, and we're all kitten because no matter whatever it is you realize in life, at night we lay down with ourselves and we are honestly just fragile human beings and vulnerable. Maybe I'll always be a kitten because of that. But anyways, I wanted to share my dream with you. So pay attention to what your dreams are telling you about you. The more you tap into yourself through listening and meditation and journaling and all of those self-reflections tool, your subconscious will actually begin to speak to you and give you gifts of insight. So I will say that I have a sense that the calico kitten, which is a multicolor kitten, represents kind of my creative side, and it came running up to me first. So creativity and how I express it will always kind of be a priority in my life, or perhaps the vehicle through which my balance will be expressed. We'll find out what all those other kittens were. I think there were 4 or 5 of them. Before I do I'll read, look at some oracle cards. I wanted to share this one new crystal that I got. I'm sorry, I'll look it up and I'll remember the name, but it didn't matter because it vibrated with the essence of the throat chakra, because this is kind of the color of the throat chakra. Wouldn't that be a nice necklace? And throat chakras, as you know, where we express our authentic self, where we try to give expression. And the power of the throat chakra, the power of words or voice or things moving through our voice, is where things come to life. It's one thing to hold ideas within. It's another thing to move them through your voice so that they have life. And I think that is what I'm being called to do, to give life to many of my ideas in many different ways. I always know when my throat chakra is blocked. It's either blocked because I need to have a really good cry or I need to just simply express and find the ways to express. The third thing of bringing something to life, So we have the welcoming of ideas into our brains and our hearts, and then they move through our throat chakra. And then the next thing that empowers your ideas is putting something into writing. And whether that's poetry, a journal book, a strategic plan, a business plan, it doesn't matter. You know, this is about bringing heaven on earth. However you do it, maybe you build things. However you move into the full expression of who you are, wow, that is heaven on earth. That's you. Might not feel like that, and you might not even feel like you're necessarily close to God in any way. It doesn't change the fact that when you are authentically you are bringing something pure and holy into the planet, which leads me into my next topic before, again, I pick the oracle cards, and that is a video I watched recently from Carolyn Mace, who is the author of Anatomy of the Spirit and many other books. She is a medical intuitive as well as a great teacher, and I was so inspired by one of her recent videos, which was called Nothing Outside of You Can Command You. Okay. Listen, folks, we're going to take a minute and we're going to say that together using the word me. Nothing outside of me can command me. Nothing outside of me can command me. It doesn't mean you become defensive and think you can do it all on your own. It doesn't mean the world is a scary place. It means that you are owning your decision making. You're owning your sphere, your vortex. Nothing outside of me can command me. And one of the things she says is that when we begin to embody this naturalness of who we are, this authenticness, we start this process of a holy activation, holy, pure, this pure activation of your real essence, of your soul essence. And she says some words that basically say, when you are activated into your truthful self, you are activating your soul. You are feeding your soul. And I would take it one step further by saying you're feeding the world around you. If that means anything to you, it's going to happen. Whatever you activate in yourself, it will have that ripple effect. We are, and it will ripple out to the greater world. It just is the law of nature. We are not separated. You know, even the power of my thoughts from a distance can create an impact, right? It's not magic, it's energy. It's the principles of energy. So make sure what you choose to become activated in and what moves through you leads to the results that you want to see in the world that create a positive karma for yourself, that come back to you. Because whatever you put out comes back. So welcoming in this holy activation of being your true self and knowing your power, understanding your own power as a human being, that is actually what I believe God wants us to do, what the universe has gifted us with. To be the one commander of your life in alignment with something bigger than yourself. Why is that important? Well, I don't know. I think values are important. If you want to minimize believing in a higher power as a value, it could be. The other thing, believing in a higher power, from whatever source, is it also keeps you humble. Because there's nothing worse than an individual with too much ego, right? And I have been there. Knowing your power and expressing it with humility. Wow. Talk about power. For example, you may be somebody who lives in the background and isn't popular. In fact, you might not even be well liked. You might just have a couple of people in your sphere that you live with. And yet, you being your authentic self in that small space somehow feeds the lives of other people. Especially if your intentions are decent. Decency. We'll start with decency and move upwards towards goodness. So even if your life is small comparatively, and our lives are all small, please do not fool yourself into believing that wealth and status make you a big person. Because it's interesting. Sometimes the quietest, smallest person is making such a huge impact in their circle of life that the reverberation of that moves outward. I have a beautiful example of this. I have a friend named Misty, and she has been creating this magical garden. She knows it and I know it, that she's creating a template. And all you have to do is walk within 50 feet of her garden, and you can feel the energy of her template moving outward. That's how powerful we are. So I thank you for choosing to resonate something good in the world. And that is where we will start. Good. Decency. Goodness. Okay, now that you are wholly activated, holy, and holy, whole as in wholeness, whole as in root chakra, one, wholeness, holy as in pure. We are going to be reading some oracle cards from the Power Thought cards from Louise Haye, who resonates much like Carolyn Mace. One of the most important, I would say, teachers and healers in the spiritual, holistic trends. Again, a woman who can bridge understanding in many different ways, makes great connections to the mind, body, and the spirit. So, I am flexible and flowing. Flowing has come up a whole lot, and really over the last few weeks, I feel like I am being directed just to be in such flow with what I feel and what is happening, and to make no judgments beyond the now. And boy, brothers and sisters, isn't that tough? But it's starting to get fun because I'm starting to enjoy the swim more. I'm really just starting to enjoy it as a swimming venture. And I have to be flexible because far be it from me to think that I'm in control of my life. I'm just going to keep investing in my holy activation and then the flow. I am open to the new and changing. Let me start over. I am open to the new and changing. Every moment presents a wonderful new opportunity to become more of who I am. Every moment provides that opportunity for you to be you. And I'll add a parenthesis and to see how amazing you are. I flow with life easily and effortlessly. I hope that this week that you enjoy the flow of who you are. And do yourself a favor. Don't take from the energies of anybody else but yourself. And see what you find there. See what God's given you and what the universe is still waiting to give you. I can promise you, when you sit with yourself long enough, you will receive a holy activation. You have no idea all that is within. Have a good day.